Spontaneous speaking video 68. Today what I'm going to be talking to you guys about is something that we often call the law of attraction, but I personally believe that it is God. A lot of people call it the universe, or just the forces, the force, stuff like that. And as you guys know from my channel, I believe that there is truth to these things that they're stating, and I'm going to get more into that. But I believe that it's being seen through the wrong lens. And that's just my perspective as a Christian. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about, you guys might see it as the law of attraction or the universe or the force. I see it as God. And pretty much attaining what you have set forth in your mind to achieve. Essentially, this is going to be going back to my video I did, I think, last year called Breaking Through Glass Windows, or Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, where there's a whole bunch of limitations that are placed upon you that you might not even, that you may be even overestimating those limitations. It can be likened to that idea of the elephant, the baby elephant, who, when the elephant was born, it could not move the chair. When it was tied to the chair, then it couldn't really move away from it. And then because of that, as it grows older and older, then now it's a huge 5-ton elephant. It's probably not 5 tons, but it's a really heavy elephant that could easily just throw and toss away the chair. But because it's been so conditioned in the mind to believe that, oh, this chair has held me back so long as I was a child, I'm probably still incapable of breaking through this. And that's kind of where the Breaking Through Glass Windows video kind of focuses on, breaking through glass ceilings. If you are able to focus enough on your vision, you're able to pretty much overcome those obstacles. In the same sense, I believe that if you focus enough on the visions that you have, on the vision that you have, literally things will fall into place as you go ahead and try and achieve that vision. And that's why a lot of people believe in this thing called the law of attraction. And like I said, I don't think that it's necessarily wrong. I just think that we take credit away from where credit is actually due in this situation. And you guys can agree, you guys can disagree with me if you want, but this is just me as a Christian, and this is just my perspective. But this is my perspective on what we call, even though I'm going to refer to it as the law of attraction, believe that I strongly believe, I have faith that every good gift comes from God, and these opportunities ultimately come from God. So one thing that I want to mention is actually from the Bible, James chapter 4, verse 3 to 4. Actually, verse 2 to 3. You desire and you do not have. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. You fight and wage war. And here it is. You do not have because you do not ask. You ask and don't receive because you ask with wrong motives, so that you may spend it on your pleasures. I think that verse right there is actually pretty powerful. The reason why is because, from my understanding, what James is saying, and he's speaking from God's perspective, is that whatever that we want in this world, whatever that we want, we can actually achieve it. Literally, he is saying that you do not have because you do not ask. God wants to lavish things on you. God wants to give you the things that you desire. But the reason why you do not have those things is because you've simply not asked him for those things. A lot of us, we don't pray enough. A lot of us, we don't even know the things that we want. We do not focus on what we actually want. Now, but there's a caveat to it. In verse 4, it says, or in verse 3, it says, you ask and don't receive. So the times that you don't get what you want, So this time when you do ask, the times that you don't get what you want is because you ask with the wrong motives, so that you may spend it on your pleasures. A lot of people want to get rich. A lot of people, their vision is to pretty much like, yo, I'm just securing the bag, you know, I'm just doing this, they're saying all of this stuff. And I literally see it on Instagram and Twitter all the time, like, you know, like, yo, F everybody else, I'm on a mission, I'm trying to, you know, do this, and it's like, I literally just laugh and I scoff at it, like, because to me, personally, it seems like a very selfish life that they're living. According to what it's saying here in James, if you're living that type of life, if you're trying to get a vision, if you're casting a vision that is very self-seeking, then if you're not getting what you want, even after asking God for it, it's because of exactly that. You're very focused on yourself. You're not focused enough on the people around you. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go around being a people pleaser like me, but you can even be trying to invest for your family, you know? I feel like God admires that just as much. If you're trying to secure your bag, if you're trying to, like, you know, raise money, if your vision is to try and, like, be able to get to a certain point because you want to be able to provide for your family and, you know, those around you, if you want to be able to provide for your child or, you know, your wife, your husband, you know, whatever, your parents, I believe that God sees that and he rewards that. And for those of you who do actually have that selfless, desire, I want to try and help you guys to achieve that. And this is where, you know, the law of attraction comes in, from how I see it. First of all, I advise you guys to write your vision. Write your vision. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about, I need this and I need that and all of the things that you have. And for those of you who understand type, this might come more easily to some types than others. So I'm trying to acknowledge the bias that I have as an ENFJ, using NI as an auxiliary function and everything. But I still think that it can apply and it could help, generally speaking. And my thing is literally write your vision, especially if you're a Christian. It doesn't matter what personality type you are. You are working with the same God that TD Jakes is working with. You're working with the same God that I'm working with. You know, I'm not all that, you know, successful or anything yet, but it's a vision that I have, and I've written down my vision, and I've written things down. Literally, you can check them in my phone on my notes. I've impressed quite a few people from years ago that I said that I want this to happen, or this is the kind of thing that I'm, like, focusing on, and I wrote it down, and I've talked to God, and I tell him certain things. I'm like, God, this is what I want, and then after telling him all of that, I write it down. There's another caveat to that too, but I'll bring that up later. But yeah, the focus is to write your vision, not really having to focus necessarily on how you're going to attain that vision just yet, but at least have it down. Know exactly what you want. Know the exact goal that you are setting so that you can now go off and achieve it. Visualize. Set your goal, visualize your goal or goals, and make tangible visuals of them. Keep your mind focused on them. So now, my whole thing is, when you actually know what you want, when you actually have written down your vision and you are actually casting that vision and you're focused on that vision, now it becomes so much easier. Somehow, literally, just like I said at the beginning, everything in life starts to just fall together. It's almost like Tetris. For those of you who've played Tetris, it's almost like the blocks are just coming together very, very smoothly. You know, like things just start to, like, add up. Like if you have really made your vision valid, if you have really written down your vision and made it super, super known, and you look at it and you visualize your vision, you visualize how your life is going to look like once this vision is attained. You visualize how you're not even how you're going to go about that vision yet, but just how that life will be. You fantasize about it. You idealize that vision. Once you've created that goal and you see how attractive it is, it's going to be kind of scary, but automatically the steps before you start to light up, the ways in which you should, like, certain opportunities are going to open up to you. Certain things are literally just going to come your way. A random person is going to come to you like, yo, I actually thought about you the other day. You know, God put you on my mind. Do you want to take this job offer? You know, or like, do you want to do this? Or like, yo, you know, blah, blah, blah. Things will literally happen and it just won't make sense. And all that I personally can say, David tweeted this yesterday. He said that whenever people give him, like, ask him, like, how are you so creative, or how this, how that, and he doesn't even know what to say, he's like, by the grace of God. You know, like, by the grace of God, he got whatever job that he has. By the grace of God, you know, this is that. Like, literally, it's, to us, it's not the universe. That's all God's doing. And once you have literally allowed that vision that God has placed in you, because I believe personally that God has placed all of our visions in us. Now, sometimes you can get that skewed, and we are working with an adversary, Satan, and like I said, this is just what I believe. And sometimes Satan can plant these seeds. Sometimes he can use other people to come to you and to essentially give you the wrong vision. But if you're looking at what's said over here, it literally says that if you ask and you don't receive, it's because you ask with wrong motives, so that you may spend it on your own pleasures. I feel like Satan will not try and allow you to use your vision to help other people. If you truly know God well enough, if you truly know God well enough to be able to discern, the Bible says that, like, my sheep know my voice. If you know God well enough to discern, like, okay, this is God's and then this is Satan's doing, then you're able to actually identify which vision that you are trying to, like, which vision that you want to attain, which vision that God has actually planted in you. So, once you have written down your vision, and once you have visualized that vision, how your life is going to look like, once you have that vision, and you've affirmed that this vision is not just from selfish pleasure. It's okay. I mean, you're going to have some form of selfishness to it, because, hey, you want to benefit from this vision too. Like, every time that you're trying to create harmony and get everybody else's needs met, you always should include yourself in everyone. So keep that in mind. So once you've done all of that and you've set your goal and all of that, now you ask, you pray, and you keep that verse in James in mind. I believe that, especially as Christians, when you go to the God who literally runs the whole entire universe, but he's so omniscient, so omnipotent, and just so awesome, that he literally leans over the balcony of heaven whenever we get on our knees to pray to him. You don't always have to get on your knees, by the way. You can pray, like, even in the shower, or even on the toilet, whatever. You know, God doesn't mind. But once we give that type of attention to him, like, God, honestly, this is what I want. This is the vision that I believe that I want to achieve. This is the vision that I believe that you have for me. I believe that once you have that, then God is now in a position where it's like, all right, he's not a genie, but he does have genie tendencies from my experience, where it's like a father. If he sees that this is something that you actually want, and he sees that you're, like, focused on it, and he'll do anything in his power, and God is a pretty powerful God, to be able to set you on that right path. And you have to be able to listen to him too. You have this is where the decisions come in. You know, like, if there's a decision, if there's a fork in the road, you have to be able to listen to that intuition. You have to be able to listen to the Holy Spirit to guide you, like, okay, which option should I take? should I make this decision? Should I not make this decision? And sometimes it won't even be that clear. Sometimes both decisions are actually okay. You're still going to end up at the right place. If you're looking at Joseph's story, I always bring it up. I feel like he made a lot of bad decisions, but at the end of the day, God still got him where he needed to be. But then sometimes there are some bad decisions that it might postpone you, because the Israelites were in the wilderness for what, 40 years? So you want to make sure that you're focused on that vision. If the Israelites had visualized the promised land enough, they would have been able to be focused. If you're focused enough on that vision, if you're focused enough on that goal, then the things around you will not distract you. It'll be able to help you to go. You focused on that goal. You're focused. So now everything, just like I said, falls into place like Tetris, and now you are going off to achieve that goal. You're going off to achieve that mission. It's beautiful, honestly. And then you should work with some optimism. Work with some faith. Believe that your vision is going to be achieved. If you've already done everything that I've said before, like previously, and if you've done it right, then you can believe that this vision is going to be achieved. Especially if you know that it's from God. Then that means like nothing is stopping you. The only thing that's, I feel like actually, yeah, let me try and pull this up. Lecrae said it the other day. Give me a second. I want to quote him appropriately. Okay. He said, "Nobody can stop God's plans for you." And I quoted it and I said, "Except maybe your own self-doubt." And I personally think that's true. If you're being like a doubting Thomas, if you're believing, this will never work, maybe coming from an idealist like me, like that's not really like your strong suit. But if you are doubting, and it literally says so in James, like if you have a lack of faith, I believe it's in James chapter 1. You can look it up sometime, or I'll put it in the description. But I believe it's in James chapter 1. It says that literally if you lack faith, if you doubt, then that's why something is not even going to happen. Jesus wasn't even able to perform miracles in his own home. Jesus himself wasn't even able to perform miracles at his own home because they doubted him. They were like, "Yo, aren't you the same man who grew up over here and blah, blah, blah? You leave for about 2.5, 3 years and you come back and you think that you're some big shot? Come on now. You were the same quiet kid that used to sit there and, with your carpenter father. You were a carpenter, and because the Bible literally says that, first of all, Jesus was like, a prophet is only without honor at his home because, familiarity breeds contempt. But then at the same time, it says that he was literally unable to perform miracles over there because of their doubt. It's almost like Barney, from what I remember. Like if you didn't believe in what Barney could do, then Barney couldn't do it. So it's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you believe that God can do what the vision that he has placed in your mind, and if you actually believe that God has placed that vision in your mind, the universe, everything will just formulate and be put together. And then once you focus on what you want and not what you don't want, be aware of what you don't want, but focus on what you want. Almost like not focusing on Satan because you're so focused on God. So to explain that just a little bit further, it's essentially, if you don't want to run into a pole, it's actually been scientifically proven, I don't know how, but it's been scientifically proven that people, I wish I knew the details of that experiment, but I remember reading about an experiment where like people who focused on, I don't want to back up into the pole, I don't want to back up into the pole when they're driving, they actually back up into the pole more often because they're so conscious about it. Now, of course, the people who are completely mindless of the pole, like that might also happen too. But pretty much what I'm saying is that you don't want to be one of those two extremes. Focus on your vision. That's the biggest part of this whole entire message. If you write down your vision, if you know what your vision is, and you focus your vision on that vision, you'll be able to achieve your mission. That just came off the top of my head. But yeah, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Oh, well, I don't want to go broke. I don't want to go broke. Okay. Well, don't think about I don't want to go broke. Think about I want to be successful. Think about I want to make money. Think about I want to be rich. And then, remembering James, why do you want to be rich? I know that me, for example, I always talk to God, and I literally, it's dangerous to make promises to God, but I literally be promising God that, God, if you give me money in the future, if you give me the type of income that I'm able to, thrive off of, if you give me the type of income that I'm able to, I'm trying to even do this now with the little income that I have, but if you give me the opportunity, the money to be able to just work with in certain, like, a good amount of money, if you give me a good amount of income, God, I promise you that I will be that person who pays for the next 5 people behind me at the drive-thru. I will leave $100 tips randomly just because. I will be that person who gives money to the homeless. I will be that person, like, give me more so that I can give more. That's what I want. I won't have to charge as much maybe for my coaching, or as often for the people who really do not have the money to be able to, pay me. It's like, dang, I want to coach you, but I need to make money. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. I try to take that up, but then, sometimes it's not even always, like, you're not able to do that. If I had the money, I would be able to give so much more. And if you have that vision, and it's not selfish, I don't see why God would not put things in order for you to be able to achieve that vision. I don't see why not. I'll quote Bishop T.D. Jakes here. And this is kind of how he had a sermon. If you look at the podcast interview, that's going to take a while to look at. Hold on. Shoot. Yep. That's going to take a while to look at. But essentially, one of his latest sermons, it was I'll just put the link in the description as well, so you guys can check that out for 2 things. But he ended it off by saying, write it, read it, and then run it. And that's kind of how I'm going to end this off. Make sure that you write your vision. Visualize your vision. Visualize how your life is going to look like during that time. Visualize all of it. Then, once you have fantasized about this so much and you've focused your mind on it, read it. As in, just like I said, you set your goals and then you make it tangible. You've now written it in your journal and you're reading it over and over and over again. This is my goals. This is what I want to do. This is what, automatically your mind starts to just focus on this thing. And then you run it. Now, before you run it, of course, you have to pray about it. You gotta have that optimism. All the things that I said before. But once you have all of that down, automatically you'll just know what types of moves that you have to make in order to achieve the things that you have before you. So clearly, I have not achieved everything in my vision just yet. But I definitely see it on the way. Do not despise small beginnings. I'm not, I'm not there. I'm not even halfway there yet. I have big plans. But this is the method that I'm using. And maybe one day, one day, I will look back at this video. I'll even look back at my video, Visionary Thinking, where I was talking about, I don't even care if there's 5 people watching this and everything, and they don't really care about what I'm saying and all of that. I'm making these videos for people in the future, people who even when I'm dead and gone, they're like, dang, Denzel's videos are kind of long, but who is this Denzel guy? Aretha Franklin just died, and now everybody's even people who weren't listening to her music before, they all of a sudden, oh, she was such a good artist. You didn't appreciate her while she was here. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but I feel like this could go for anybody, not even just me, but for anybody. You know, they can be slept on while they're here. But my vision is still going to be, you know, pursued. I'm a visionary. I can't see without that vision there. And this is just my tips to everybody out there to attain what they believe that God has in store for them. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Leave your comments, questions, concerns. Don't forget that I have coaching. You know, I do coaching, so email me dz2blessed@icloud.com. That's DEEZY number 2 blessed@icloud.com. It's $50 per session and $25 if you want to be profiled, if you want to know your personality type. And I'm working on packages for that. So in the future, the prices will go up because I'm doing some things. I'm in a process right now. But also be on the lookout for my next video. It's going to be with David in Albany, where I did the INFJ, INFP distinction video last year or so, and I used David in Albany as an example. This time I actually had them in person with me, and we had an interesting conversation. There was a little bit of an altercation in there too, so for those of you who like drama, well, you guys got a little bit. But it was just a little bit, and thankfully me and David settled it. So if you are watching this video and then you watch that video, you can be on the lookout for it. And I did do a slightly petty thing in it, but just be on the lookout for it and know that everything is cool with me and David. He's still gonna be my best man. Love you, bro. So yeah, that's everything done.